A gentle breeze filtered through the open window of the small cafe, stirring the golden leaves outside. The sun had just begun to dip below the skyline, casting a soft amber glow across the tables. Inside, the hum of quiet conversation mingled with the low strains of acoustic music. It was a cozy, unassuming place, exactly the kind of spot Emma had hoped for when she suggested it. She sat at a corner table near the window, smoothing the hem of her skirt for the third time. Her phone lay on the table next to a small notebook filled with doodles and a few nervous scribbles. She glanced at the door again, then checked the time on her watch. He was only 5 minutes late. Not a big deal. First dates were nerve-wracking, and maybe he was just looking for parking. Emma tugged her cardigan tighter around her and tried to relax. She had spent extra time getting ready, carefully choosing an outfit that felt like her, simple, a little artistic, approachable. She'd even worn her hair half up to keep it off her face, easier for lip reading. This was her first date in over a year. She hadn't wanted to risk another disappointment, but something about Jason's messages had seemed promising. He was witty, curious, and didn't shy away when she mentioned she was deaf. The bell above the door jingled, and she looked up. There he was, Jason. Tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a button-up and jeans, scanning the room. Their eyes met, and she raised her hand in a small wave. He gave a nod and made his way over, sliding into the seat across from her. She opened her phone and tapped a few words. The app spoke in its calm, mechanical voice. "Hi, Jason. It's nice to finally meet you." Jason gave a quick smile but didn't meet her eyes. "Yeah, hey," he said, pulling out his phone and unlocking it. This place is nice." Emma nodded and signed slowly, her fingers elegant and fluid, then tapped her phone again. "I like the light in here. It's cozy." Jason glanced around. "Yeah, sure." He didn't ask her what she signed. He didn't ask about the app. Instead, he seemed restless, his eyes darting toward the barista station, then back to his screen. She tried to keep the conversation going, tapping another message. "I wasn't sure what kind of drinks you liked." "I just got here too." He shrugged. "I'm not really a coffee guy. I thought maybe we'd go somewhere else after this." Then, after a pause, I didn't realize you were deaf." Emma blinked, startled. She typed slowly, deliberately. "It's on my profile." Jason exhaled, shifting in his seat. "Yeah, maybe I didn't read that far. I was just, looking at pictures." There was a tight silence. Emma swallowed hard, forcing her hands to stay still in her lap. She signed something soft and tentative, then typed, "We can still talk." I read lips. I thought we could get to know each other. Jason gave her a look that wasn't quite cruel but wasn't kind, either. "Look, I don't want to be rude or anything. You seem nice, but I think we're just, in different places, Her heart sank. She tapped slowly. "Because I'm deaf." He hesitated. "It's just a lot. I don't really know how to, do this kind of thing. Communication's kind of a big deal for me." Emma forced a nod, though her cheeks burned. She wasn't sure if it was embarrassment or disappointment, or both. She had been here before, in different versions, in different rooms with different people. That moment where everything seemed possible, until it wasn't. Jason stood, brushing off his jeans. "I should get going, but good luck, okay." He was gone before she could type a response. His chair scraped against the tile as he left, and the air felt colder in the space he'd vacated. The voices and sounds of the cafe suddenly felt distant, like a radio playing in another room. Emma stared at the half-full glass of water in front of her. Her fingers twitched toward her phone but stopped. What was there to say? She wasn't angry, just tired. Tired of making herself small so other people could feel comfortable. Tired of proving she was worth the effort. Tired of believing, even briefly, that maybe someone might stay. She looked out the window at the street beyond. Couples passed by, laughing. A cyclist zoomed through yellow leaves scattered across the pavement. Everything continued as if nothing had happened. A server approached to ask if she wanted to order, but Emma only shook her head and gave a polite smile. She folded her hands in her lap and sat quietly, staring down at the little notebook beside her. The pages fluttered in the breeze from the window, as though searching for a new place to begin. Mark had noticed her the moment he walked into the cafe with his daughter. She was already seated at her table, back straight but eyes flicking toward the door every few seconds. There was something hopeful about her posture, like she was trying not to look nervous but couldn't help it. Mark knew that look too well. expectation with a hint of fear behind the eyes. He used to carry it himself, in those long, lonely months after his wife left. He'd see it in the mirror while fixing Lily's hair for school or brushing his teeth at night. That deep ache for connection, mixed with the dread that it might never come. Lily tugged his hand toward a booth near the window, one table over from the woman. Mark helped her into the seat, then sat across from her, glancing again at the young woman next to them. She was scrolling through her phone nervously, checking the door, fixing her cardigan. Her movements were careful, precise. Their drinks came. Mark took his coffee with a little too much cream, and Lily had her usual, hot chocolate with whipped cream and extra sprinkles. She was drawing quietly with a purple crayon when the door opened and a man walked in. Tall, put together, confident. He made a beeline for the woman's table. Mark didn't mean to watch, but something about the dynamic drew his eye. The man sat down, and right away, something felt off. The woman's face lit up at first, her hands moving in smooth, practiced gestures, sign language. Mark smiled quietly to himself. His eyes flicked to Lily. She wasn't watching, but he knew she'd have noticed too. The man across from the woman looked uncomfortable. He wasn't even trying to understand. He glanced around, fiddled with his phone, shrugged a lot. Mark couldn't hear what they were saying, but he could tell from the woman's face, hope turning slowly into resignation. The man stood abruptly, gave a half-hearted wave, and left. The woman didn't move for a long moment. Just sat there, staring out the window, eyes glassy but dry. Her shoulders dropped slightly, and her fingers tapped gently against the tabletop, a small rhythm without purpose. Mark looked at Lily, still coloring, then back to the woman. Something tightened in his chest. He remembered the first time someone looked at Lily that way, not with cruelty, just with dismissal. Like her silence was too inconvenient. Like her difference was too much to bother with. It had taken everything in him not to say something then. But now, he couldn't stay quiet. He gently tapped the table to get her attention. The woman looked up, startled, eyes wide, as if bracing for more judgment. But instead, Mark raised his hands and signed clearly, slowly. He was wrong. Her eyebrows lifted in surprise. He continued, "You deserve better." There was a pause. Her expression softened, confusion giving way to something like cautious gratitude. She signed back, hesitant at first. "You, no sign." He smiled and nodded. "My daughter is deaf." He pointed to Lily, who peeked up from her drawing and gave a small wave with a chocolate-smeared smile. "I learned for her." The woman looked at Lily, then back at him. Her eyes were shimmering now, but she wasn't crying. She signed. "That's beautiful." Mark signed back. "Would you like to join us?" Then added with a playful grin, "Lily always shares her whipped cream." The woman's face broke into a full smile, genuine, unguarded. She gathered her phone and notebook, tucked a stray hair behind her ear, and moved to the seat across from Lily. The little girl immediately offered her a crayon. Mark watched the two of them start to sign, slowly at first, and then more easily. Lily, always shy at first, warmed quickly. She began telling a story about a cat they saw outside their building. The woman laughed, her eyes bright, hands flowing with more freedom now. He hadn't asked her name yet. That would come. Right now, it was enough to sit together, to fill the space with small, kind gestures. No pressure, no expectations, just a warm booth, shared silence, and the common language of people who had spent too long being misunderstood. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, and the golden leaves on the sidewalk swirled in little gusts. Inside, the light grew softer, wrapping around them like a blanket. Mark took a sip of his lukewarm coffee and didn't mind the taste. He looked at the woman, still smiling, now helping Lily color in a tree, and felt a quiet, steady warmth rise in his chest. Maybe nothing would come of this. Maybe it was just a moment. But it was a good one. A necessary one. And in the small world of that corner table, it felt like a beginning.